Welcome to A Double
and
Dice
with your host Kim.
and Jocelyn.
Pour your favorite beverage,
Pull up a comfy chair.
because we are ready to roll.
Welcome to episode 81 of A Double and Dice. And today, I forgot to say something. Sorry, let me revert that. Welcome to season 4, episode 81 of Double and Dice.
There's no season. We've never stopped. We just keep going. We're like the Energizer Bunny. We're just going and going and going.
She doesn't like seasons. She doesn't like us saying seasons or me saying
I don't know
seasons.
why it bothers me. It just bothers me. It's like one of those weird, random things that just perturbs me, and anyway, whatever. Welcome to our 4th year. We've been doing
Year
this
4.
for 3 full years. We are in year 4, season 4, if you must. I think that's why I don't like the word season, because it's not like we have like a time and then we take a break and then we start over. We've literally been podcasting nonstop for 3 full years every second week. So how is that a season? A season is like 4 months.
That type of season. Not a weather season.
I know. Anyway, it's not important. It's all good.
No.
We're here. We have been doing this for 3 whole years, and you heard our anniversary episode last week in episode 80. And when I said last week, I mean last week, because we are back to back for 2 episodes.
Yep. And then we're back to
real
regular
life
scheduled. So
Yeah. But we didn't miss any. So we're still
That's correct.
Still every 2 weeks.
We are undefeated. No, that's not the word. We are, what do you call something that, you never missed anything before?
Uninterrupted.
Is that what they say? Okay.
I'll go with it.
Sure.
If the listeners have another word, then they can send it to us and we might say it on the podcast. So,
yep.
Undefeated, undisputed, uninterrupted, longest going podcast. No, that's not true. That's the Ministry of Dice. But
what are they into? How many years are they?
A lot.
7?
More than us.
Yes.
More than us.
Probably
That's
double
all I know.
us.
So yeah, so Kim, here we are. We're going into year 4, and we've got more stuff to talk about, and we're gonna keep talking about Dice Masters as long as we can. And we might even get product this year, so fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And in today's episode, we're actually going to finally go through our DC teams, our Superman Kryptonite Crisis teams, aka DC teams, that we had played locally.
Quite a few weeks ago.
And yeah, it was in sometime in February, because we're now in March. Oh, happy March 1st. No, it's not March 1st today.
Oh my gosh, Kim. Happy March. Happy
March.
There's a snowstorm coming.
Yes, there's a snowstorm coming again. Yeah,
Do you know
winter's
how much
not done
snow
with
there
us.
is in my parking space? I am so angry.
Shovel it.
Well, I don't.
Do you not get a shoveler? I mean, a plow coming?
Yes, the plow plows me
right?
in, and then I have to borrow my neighbor's shovel because I live upstairs, and I borrow my neighbor's shovel to shovel my car out. But also, Kim, you might know this, but I have a back injury. Shoveling snow is not particularly good for my health. So anyway, I shoveled my car out, and there's still a whole bunch of snow. And then because there's been so much snow in the past few weeks, the snowbank on the side of where I park has started to encroach on my parking space. So it's getting harder for me to get into my parking space. And now we're supposed to get like another 15 to 25 centimeters tomorrow, which by the time you listen to this will be a few days ago. And for those of you that are not on the metric system, that's almost a foot of snow. It's half a foot to a foot of snow.
So yeah, winter's not done with us. Spring is nowhere near, even though the Weather Network is saying, "Oh, here's your schedule for the spring." No, it's not coming in.
It was beautiful out today. Like, aside from the fact that there was snow everywhere, like it was it was 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. The sun was shining. Some of the snow was melting. I was quite lovely. But tomorrow it's just going to snow again. And I'm done with it. I'm done with snow.
It was still windy. Wind makes it terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't windy when I was out, but I was only out for a few minutes, so. But I did go for a walk in the sunshine to get some fresh air today because it was nice out. but I wore my hat.
Yeah. I don't mind it
Ears warm.
snowing. It's the extreme cold weather I'm not too fond about.
I just don't like it snowing when I have to go places. Like coming home from Vancouver
Yeah.
when I was visiting
Yeah,
my
you
sister
came in the
last
winter
weekend.
storm.
I came home in one of these storms. So I had so many storms. So we had a storm before I left, and then we had a storm in BC while I was there, and then came home to another storm. It's like the snow was everywhere that I was. It was so much snow, and then the highway was horrible, and I had to take an Uber home, and I was like a little worried, but I had a very good Uber driver, which was good. So, but yeah, now more snow tomorrow, and I'm just done with snow, and I'm ready for spring, and I'm ready for Secret Wars, and I'm ready for exciting stuff. But until that happens, we can continue to play Modern Dice Masters, and we built some Superman Kryptonite Crisis teams, right, Kim?
Yep. I was going to say, even if your Uber driver wasn't that great, I mean, they get rated, so they have to be good.
Yeah, this is true, but like I wasn't sure about, because you never know with Uber, because I don't know how they're licensed here in Canada. So I was like, are they good drivers? Are they bad drivers? Like, what if I get a bad driver and the snow is bad? Because the highway was really bad. Like there was like 6 inches of slush on the snow of the highway. It was very unpleasant to drive home. I was almost glad I wasn't driving. So
You're just clutching on in the back.
yeah,
Holding on for your dear life to your seat.
I only live 15 minutes from the airport, and it took 40 minutes to get home. So that's how bad it was. Yeah. But we're here.
Do you want to go first, or would you like I to go first? Me to go first?
Well, let's sort of talk about what our build challenge here was, Kim. So a couple months ago at this point, we talked about building some teams out of some of the modern sets and playing them against each other, because just as something to do. And we did our Dark Phoenix saga, which I believe you won, Kim. You won that.
Yeah, I think so.
Didn't we? Maybe I won one and you won one. I can't remember now.
Something
It was a
like
couple
that.
episodes ago. You can go check.
My memory's horrible.
And then we said, okay, let's do Superman Kryptonite Crisis now. And you were super excited because you love that set.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, I'll build the team. So I can go first. I can talk about my team. So my team, there's lots of things you can do with the team, but I decided to try some stuff a little bit differently. So I went with, I decided to go range. So I had Brainiac 5, Coolin Prodigy, a 5-cost mask. While Brainiac 5 is active, your character dice gain range 1 if they didn't already have range, and when you energize him, you gain a life. So to go along with that, I put on Poison Ivy, push too far. When you fielded, choose an opposing character, replacing all previous choices. While she's active, when that character die attacks, field a plant token. While Poison Ivy is active, if a plant token is KO'd, target player loses 1 life. So that was kind of the idea there. And then I had Starro minions to steal your sidekicks. So he's the common. If you roll Starro at level 3, reroll Starro. When he attacks, you may take control of up to 2 target sidekicks your opponent controls. They must attack if able. Then I had Barry Allen, the uncommon. When Barry Allen attacks, if you have an active Superman character die, target opposing character die can't block this turn. And the only Superman affiliated character die I had on my team was Batman Rooftops, who has an energized to draw and roll 2 dice, but he was really there for the global, which was pay 2 masks. Each player may field up to 2 sidekick dice from their use pile. So basically the plan was, and then I had the common Harley, which has no text, the 1-cost mask. So the plan was to get a big field and do range damage and KO all your stuff and then walk across the field. And then as a secondary thing, because I did bring the sidekick fielding global with Batman, I put on Anti-Monitor Mobius, the common, which is when Anti-Monitor attacks, you may KO any number of your character dice. For each that you do, your opponent KOs one of their character dice. So that was kind of my plan to help reduce the fielding if necessary. From a prep perspective, I had the Joker, Final Dance, which is pay a mask once per turn. During your turn, if you have no dice in your prep area, you may draw a die and place it in your prep area, aka Villainous Pact. And then his ability is actually quite good as well. When fielded, you may immediately KO the Joker. If you do, deal 1 damage to target sidekick character die and reroll target non-sidekick character die. So that was, again, some removal. And then from a action dice perspective, I put on Huge Smash, which was there for the global pay 1 once per turn, draw a die from your bag, return it to your bag, or add it to your use pile. And then I threw in Bold Last Stand because I didn't know what to put there, and it has a global pay a shield, target character die gets +2 defense. So yeah, so that was my team. So my plan was to do a lot of range damage and KO stuff, and then walk across the field. So Kim, what happened with your team?
Well,
what did you put on your team that made a problem?
Yeah, I accidentally put on Doomsday, the rare Doomsday that has Overcrush, but it also has a global on there that pretty much helped Jocelyn win all the games that we had.
I mean, also the fact that your dice didn't roll helped me win all the games.
True. So that global was pay a bolt, target character die, must attack this turn.
But why was that so important, Kim? Do you remember?
Because you made no, maybe. Well, you kept making all my stuff
because of Harley
Quinn. Was it Harley?
Yeah.
I remember.
When Harley Quinn is KO'd, you may roll a character die from your use pile. For each energy showing on that die, deal 1 damage to target character die. If that die shows a character face, reroll target opposing character die. And then also,
right, it was my Harley.
Batman, Legend of the Dark Knight. While Batman is active, when one of your character dice is KO'd, deal 1 damage to target player and 1 damage to target character die. So I needed to not have Batman active in order to not die.
A slow, painful death it would have been.
It was. I was like, oh, and you bought him. He's only a 5 cost. And you bought him and you had him in the field, and his stats are 144, 255, 375. So there's only so much like I can take, like as far as absorbing that damage. We only have 20 life in this game. So it was tricky. It was really tricky to get around that. But you know, so that Batman plus the Harley Quinn, if I KO the Harley, you get to do stuff with me. If I KO the Batman, you get to do stuff. So I had to like force attack your Batman out, force attack your Harley out, absorb the damage, get them into your use pile, and then that way I could potentially, you know, work around you. The only other option I had for removal on my team was the Joker, but that's still a KO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
once you KO'd, yeah.
I'm dealing a damage to a sidekick die, which means that I'm KOing a die, right? And then reroll target non-sidekick character die. So I could use the reroll effect to get rid of Batman or Harley with the Joker, and I think I did do that at some points. But the other way I was doing it was your force attack. I was just force attacking, absorbing damage, and then eventually I was able to work around you. I think we played 3 games.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that global. I was more for the Doomsday was there particularly to throw you off because it was an Overcrush card.
Yeah. Well, you should have picked a different Overcrush card, Kim.
Right? Because you know I don't use that global. I hate that global actually. I don't even.
You said that.
I don't never put it on my team. Yeah, I don't usually do the force attack stuff. So it was just like, well, I kind of just glazed over it and didn't even really pay attention. So until you're like,
sat down and I was like, I am dead. I am going to die. There is no way. My whole team is designed around KOing your stuff and walking across the field, and I don't have any way to go unblockable. And even anti-monitor KOs your dice. If your dice are KO'd, Batman's going to trigger. So Batman needed not to be active. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have no way around this. Except I did, because you brought it for me.
Should have bought 2 Batman. Did I buy 2 Batmans? I couldn't remember.
I think at one point you did buy 2 Batmans because one of the Batmans wasn't rolling.
Yeah.
So it was extraordinarily lucky that I won all 3 games that we played. I had to work really hard for those wins. Like, I had to really play around you. Your global was important. If you didn't have that global, I for sure would have lost all of the games. For sure. And then you did have one game where you just didn't roll well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's with the rest of your team, Kim? We've talked about Batman. We've talked about Harley.
Yeah, so Batman, talked about Harley. I had the same Joker that you had. So when fielding,
Yep.
you'll immediately KO the Joker. And if you do, deal 1 damage target psychic character die and reroll target non-psychic character die, which helps with Batman. So you can keep kind of cycling that. And then I had Bat Signal, which is the 2-cost super carbon arc filaments.
You got it.
I never actually read the subtitle on that card. I remember reading the subtitle on that card. So it's roll a die from your bag, and if Batman is active, because I have Batman, roll an additional die from your bag. If you have Robin active, prep a die from your bag, and then if you pay a mask, reroll target villain character die, which is the global on there. And I don't think the Joker, but you're not really keeping that in the field.
No, I was never keeping him in the field.
And Doomsday would have been a problem. Yep. And yes, I had a Robin. Flying Grayson, which is a 3-cost shield. When fielded, deal X damage to target character die, where X is the number of character dice in your field zone. So if I felt frisky, I guess I could have KO'd my own stuff. Because it doesn't say opposing.
That's right.
And then, which would trigger Batman. And then, so I put a lot of things that would trigger me KOing things, obviously.
And that Robin also has a global on it that's important.
Yes, pay a mask. The first character die. The first character you feel this turn is free to feel, which would help with Batman because he's a 3 on his level 3 side.
Yeah, that helps.
And some of my other stuff are 2. Yeah, helps you too. The last card I had on my team was Wonder Woman, ambassador from. I don't know how to pronounce this. Sorry, what?
Themyscira. Sure.
So 4-cost mask. When Wonder Woman attacks, your character dice get +1A. I don't think I ever bought her.
I don't think you did either.
She was just a buff, just in case your field was clear, and I was like, oh, look at all these characters, and then finish you off, kind of thing. But
it is interesting though, Kim, because you brought Arctic Breath.
Yeah,
which says deal 1 damage to target character die, put a stun token on a different target character die's card, and Wonder Woman has a global on it, pay a mask, change the target of an action die that targets a character die to the character die of your choice.
So see, I could have screwed myself over anyways.
Yeah, I mean you didn't buy that action, I don't think.
No.
And I wouldn't be able to redirect the stun token because the stun token is targeting a card, a character die's card, but I could probably redirect the 1 damage.
Right. So I could have gone for myself,
and then I would have.
And then you would be like, no, you could take it to me. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And that would not have had any of my stuff KOing, like sidekicks, pretty much.
It also had a global on it.
Yeah. Pay a fist, target character die gets +1A. And then my other favorite basic action was call to action. Target non-psychic character die gets +3A. So if I had to walk through, I guess. But
it's a very well-built team.
It just couldn't roll some of the... I think my Joker was giving me problems. Yeah. And then you kept forcing my Batman.
And then the force attack. Mm-hmm. So if you rebuilt this team, I would 100% take that force attack off of your team.
Oh yeah. That was a huge mistake. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't put that on. Even Wonder Woman, probably not needed. Call to action, probably not needed. Yeah, but everything else would have been okay.
I was sitting there like, I am dead. This is not going to be a fun time for me. Kim is just going to walk all over my team. Look, force attack.
Stupid kid. And you took big damage too. At one point you did take a 7.
I took a 7. Yeah.
You were quite low, but then I couldn't really do it.
But by not having Batman and Harley Quinn active, or Poison Ivy? Harley Quinn? Who was it?
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn. By not having those 2 active, I could actually range out your dice and then do stuff. Like hit you for life. Mm-hmm. So but yeah, it was a calculated risk, and it could have very easily gone the other way where I'd taken too much life and then died. But the fact that I made some strategic decisions and then your dice chose not to roll made it a little bit easier on me.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have, it was just Superman, I would put Dark Phoenix because it'd be easy to KO my Harley.
For sure.
One shot, because you could either block it and she goes back in the field, or you take her little damage or whatever and recycle and get her back. So it would have been a little bit tough.
There isn't a single common card on your team, Kim.
I know. My whole team is rares,
got
super rare,
rares,
and 1 uncommon.
6 rares, a super rare, and an uncommon, and then the basic actions, I guess, are technically commons. But
and all of my cards had globals except 2.
Yeah. Whereas on my team, I had 3 rares, I had 4 commons, and an uncommon. I didn't run any super rares. So.
But I do enjoy that Joker. I've played it a few times now, and I actually do like that card.
It is a really cool removal effect. I quite like
for
it.
a Joker card.
The Robin is also a really good effect. Like I know a lot of people are playing that in Memphis. I had not played that card myself. I did play it last night at the local game store, but you weren't there, Kim. So, separate conversation. But yeah, so your team was really well built. Like I said, the Doomsday with the force attack is probably something that I would replace. If you wanted an Overcrush, just pick a different Overcrush.
Yeah, like Bizarro, that goes right into my bag.
Yeah, it's max 1, but who cares? I almost put Bizarro on my team. I almost did, but I elected not to at the last minute. So I wanted to capture your sidekicks and attack with them, which I was able to do. I did that several times with Starro. You could have re-rolled my Starro with that global. Starro's a villain.
I don't think it was really in the field that much, though. I can't remember.
Well, he was attacking and he was stealing your sidekicks, and then he was either going through or getting KO'd, but I did have to field him a few times.
Yeah. Because maybe he was on his... Didn't he have a 1-1
He didn't really
section?
stay in the field, I think, is the thing, because he was attacking. No. So the alternative for you would have been you would have had to save energy to re-roll him if he ended up in the field.
Yeah.
So, but that wasn't like the make it or break it. It was really just my strategic use of the force attack global and your strategic not ability to roll dice. I still can't believe I won all 3 games.
It's like when the Joker
change.
Yeah. The Joker is very the Joker. I mean, it's like so fitting, his theme. It's like he rolls or he doesn't roll. Most of the time he doesn't roll. Did you need him to roll? He needed an energize effect. That's what he needed.
You know, I love the concept of energize. And I agree with you. Like, I feel like if you don't have an energize effect on a die, it's less useful. Because there are energize effects that are super useful now. And it makes, 5 sides of the dice effective as opposed to just 3. Right? But if every die had an energize on it, then it wouldn't be interesting anymore.
No. But he's so
Plus, sometimes I forget about the energize.
Yeah, like in your game one life.
Energized.
Yep.
Yeah. I definitely missed that.
You did. Yeah. I remember you missing that.
Yeah. So they were.
But yeah,
fun games,
I mean, it's a fun team. Yeah. I'll save this one maybe one day. Yeah, I would use it again.
Just change out that force attack.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not coming. It's not going there.
No more force attacking, Kim. There's no need for it.
Even the reroll villain. But then again, just don't put villains on your team, that's all. That required to be staying in the field.
Yeah, exactly. And you didn't really, because your Joker was automatically being KO'd, and your Doomsday you never bought, so.
Yep.
So yeah, so what did you think of these teams, Kim?
Good, yeah. Your team was pretty good. Brainiacs is so expensive though, but I mean, I like range. I enjoy range.
I mean, everything is expensive when you're playing in set with Superman Kryptonite Crisis because there aren't a lot of discounts.
No.
There is a decent amount of prep. but there's not a lot of discounts. So it's hard to get to those higher cost dice in set, unless you can get like an investigative journalism or a Daily Planet, which I did consider putting investigative journalism on my team. But again, it's a 5 cost. It's a little harder to get to. So I did have a little bit of trouble getting to my higher cost dice because Brainiac, Batman, and Anti-Monitor were all 5 costs. So I did have a bit of a trouble getting there. One of the actual MVPs of my team was the common Harley Quinn because she's a 1 cost. She's max 3, but her stats 022, 133, 144. She was very effective when I could get her in the field, and then if I wanted extra energy, I'd just reroll her for masks. So when I was building this team, and I was like, oh, I want super rare Harley. However, I can't have super rare Harley if I'm running common Harley, so I had to make a decision. I felt the 1 cost would make more sense as far as this particular team, because it did give me the potential of ramping essentially by buying a 1 cost and rolling it for 2 energy, so I think it was the effective choice.
Yeah, and you've played Harley. You tried to play some different things, right?
Yeah, I wanted to play. I mean, I've played a lot of these cards because I've drafted this set a boatload. Because we drafted it at Gen Con and we drafted it at Memphis. So I'm looking forward to drafting something else.
1,000,000 times. 1 million.
Maybe not quite that many, but pretty close. So yeah, my team felt a little bit more like a mishmash than your team. Your team felt like a more cohesive plan.
That could possibly fail badly.
Only because you put that force attack global on there.
Well, the Joker didn't really roll. I think I bought 3 Jokers.
I mean, sometimes your dice don't roll. You just have to live with that. Yeah. That's part of this game.
It's a dice game. What are you going to do?
It's a dice game. There's not a lot you can do about it. My team, like I said, a little bit more of a mishmash, but the part about it that I liked is that it gave me options. Although all of them were bad until your force attack showed itself to me.
You didn't have to look there. I should have just threw the card
Yeah.
There is no global on here. What are you talking about?
This is actually a 7 card team. I only brought this as like a psych out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Which it was. It was a psych out. Because everybody will think I'm going to buy that to Overcrush.
Yeah, I mean, it's a decent Overcrush. It's like a 043155277.
It could be a finisher or something.
Yeah, I was surprised you didn't put a spin up global on. You like to spin things up.
Yeah, but the only thing really would have been Batman, and he's okay. He's okay defensively.
Batman.
So he was the only thing that really had to stay in the field.
Yeah, by rights, you should have won at least 2 of those games. Like, literally by rights. I got super lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, bad global, and Joker is being the Joker.
But it was a super lot of fun. I'm glad that we played. We will drop the links to the teams in the show notes, Kim.
Yep.
Yes? Yeah. So you can take a look at the teams that we've just gone over and let us know what you thought. What would you change, and what would you suggest Kim put on her team in lieu of the Doomsday to make it better, and what would you do with my team to change it? I did end up buying that Barry Allen at the last minute, but it didn't come into play because I finally got Batman active, and then I got Barry because I was like, well, if I can't, I was like, maybe if I can just prevent Harley from blocking, it wouldn't be so bad, right? That was one of my thought processes, and it's when Barry attacks, if you have an active Superman character die, target opposing character die can't block. So it's like, if I can avoid Harley blocking, maybe I can absorb the damage. But I never ended up rolling Barry. So anyway, there was ideas. They weren't necessarily good ideas, but they were ideas, and it turned out it worked in my favor that particular day. So
yeah,
no complaints. No complaints at all. So yes, let us know what you thought of the teams. What would you do if you were building a Superman Kryptonite Crisis team in set? What would you select if you had access to the whole set? How would you build your team? Share that with us. We'd love to talk about that on a future episode.
Cool.
Anything else on the Superman Kryptonite Crisis teams, Kim?
No. Good.
No? You're good?
Good.
You're hunky-dory?
Goody.
Okay.
Yep.
So before we jump into the dice bag, we did just want to remind everyone, and we'll probably do it again at the end of the episode, that our anniversary episode came out this past Monday, which was February 27th. And we are still looking for a winner of our happy anniversary contest, right, Kim?
Right.
So you have to hear the 5 voices that said happy anniversary at the beginning and end of the episode and let us know who they are in order. And all of those people have been on the podcast or are on Weekly Dice Arena.
Yes. So
you've heard their voices before. So with that said, we did have one disqualified candidate.
Yep.
Mr. Jordo.
Twice disqualified, actually.
Yeah, first off, because he's part of dmNorthTV. And then secondly, because he didn't follow the process to send us an email at dmNorth.com. He did it through a Discord message.
But he got it all right.
He did, although he was thrown off by one of the voices, and he actually asked us first. And I said, I'm not confirming or denying unless you're going to tell us what you think. So... Anyway, he did get it correct, and we do have a prize, a mystery prize available. So if you are interested in entering our happy anniversary contest for a mystery prize, make sure you email us at dpodcast@dm-north.com, and the first person who emails us correctly with the answer of those 5 voices will win that prize.
Yep. So get listening. We want to hear from you.
So let's jump into the dice bag. Yes? No?
Yes.
Maybe? Okay.
Do you want to talk about a survey first before we jump into dice bag?
Let's do the survey at the end.
Okay.
Because we also talk about the poll. Feedback from the last episode, as you know, we referred to, we're doing back-to-back episodes due to real-life scheduling conflicts, and also allowing us to put our episode out on our actual anniversary. So we have a little bit of feedback from last week's episode, but it's only been out for like 4 days at the time we've recorded this, so there hasn't been a ton of opportunity for people to listen to it. However, with that said, we did hear from a few folks. So first off, we heard from Jackalope Spam, aka Nick, and he messaged us on our Discord, a dmNorthTV Discord in the A Double Double and Dice Convo chat channel. And he was responding to the comment about the rider and the M&Ms. And he says, good news, nobody needs to pick through a giant bag of M&Ms. And he provided a link. You can order custom M&Ms.
Oh, yes. I've done it before.
You can put pictures on them.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. When did you do this?
So, few years ago, I found out that you can do this. I decided to do it for, I think it was for Christmas stuff. And I think I got red and green ones, and they had Christmas things on them. And here's what happened with them. So it said it got delivered. I went outside my front door. They weren't there. I was very upset because it's M&Ms. Right? So I was like, oh, great. Now this is lost. And I got to do that, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, 2 days later, so into the weekend, the doorbell rings. I answer the door. My neighbor from across the street on the other side of the street. So our street is like one of those like horseshoes. Crescent.
Yep.
It's a horseshoe.
Crescent.
So the other side comes over. She goes, oh, this got delivered at our house. I think it's yours. I'm like, thank you. My M&Ms. Yeah, so it's actually really cool that it's not cheap, and I'm sure it's more expensive now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's yeah.
What did you put on your M&Ms, Kim?
They were Christmas themed, so I don't remember what was on them.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. I know they were red and green, and I can't remember what picture I may have put on them.
I had no idea that this was a thing. You can just like custom pick your M&Ms. So like if I went in and put my rider out when I become a superstar, and I go into a place and say I want all of my M&Ms to be green, then they can just order green M&Ms for me. They don't have to like pick through them with hands that might or might not be gloved. I still won't do it. Because what if they don't actually order them and they actually pick through them with their hands? Because that would be gross. So But anyway, apparently nobody needs to do that, and now I want to order M&Ms with special pictures on them. So that's something that I
yeah, you just say you want to put J's on them instead of the M.
J&J. That's called Johnson & Johnson Vision Care.
No, well, there's a J on the just a J.
I know.
Just a J instead of
Just
the
a
M.
J.
Just a J. Yeah.
I wonder if we could get a double and dice printed on them.
Oh, I'm sure you can. You can upload an image. Look, I'm on this site right now. You should totally.
Font
I'm gonna
would be
upload
so
it.
tiny. Anyway, so thank you, Nick, for letting us know that.
Upload image.
I said to Nick, "Do the celebs know about this?" I'd change my rider, and he said I'd have to assume so. So there you go. Custom
Maybe they
M&Ms
might
is
not.
a thing.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
He also shared that he spotted a local vending machine near where he lives, and that you can pick your own Skittles flavors. So that's kind of interesting. I do enjoy Skittles from time to time.
Skittles are good.
Yeah. And Collector Rob chimed in and said, "What a world we live in." And I agree. What a world we live in. I have a sidebar story about that. So there's a thing you can do on airplanes now, Kim. Airplanes have Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like online shopping on my way to Vancouver on the airplane. And I ordered travel pillows, and I had them shipped to Rob's house. And it was crazy. I was just like, I can't believe this is the world we live in. Like, I used to get on an airplane, and you know, it was not that long ago that you got on an airplane, and either it had a screen at the front of the airplane, or in special cases, you had a screen on every seat, and you were all watching the same pre-selected movie. You couldn't even pick your own movie. Like, it wasn't that long ago that was a thing. And now airplanes have flipping Wi-Fi, and you can like shop and talk on Discord and send messages. Like, it's crazy. So anyway,
I thought the Wi-Fi was only for you to like view their movies and TV shows
for free. It is only for that. So
so if you pay a little bit extra. Okay.
So WestJet has like a 3-tier setup for the Wi-Fi, so you can get like just chat, like messenger and text messages, which is super cheap, and then you can get like 2 hours, and then you can get your whole flight. But then I have a WestJet MasterCard, which gives me access to something called the Boingo, and I get free Wi-Fi when I'm on the plane. When I'm on WestJet's plane through Boingo because of my MasterCard. So I can't like stream. I can't like get on Twitch or YouTube or anything like that. But I can do Discord and messages and surf the internet and online shop and all kinds of things. So it's pretty impressive.
When I was on my flight to Vegas, I was like, I did the same thing. I walked in, I'm like, where's the screen? Where's the screen on the TV on the seat?
They don't have screens anymore.
I know. I banked my whole trip on watching stuff, not reading a book that I brought. So then I remembered. Sorry.
Did you bring your iPad?
I didn't. No, just my phone. And then I was like, we were taxiing to take off. We were probably like the third one in the line, and then I was like, oh, it's the app. We need the app. So I was trying to download the app before we took off. So I managed to do it. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a second. If you actually connect, wouldn't they allow you to download the app if you connected through their system? But I didn't know, right? So yeah, I was like,
yeah. No, you can't. You have to have the app in order to download anything. The app is required.
Yeah, so you had to download before you
that's right.
took off, pretty much. Yeah.
So that when Collector Rob said, "What a world we live in," I agree. Not only can we pick our own Skittles flavors and have our M&Ms printed in whatever color and design we want, we can also online shop on airplanes. So this is the world we live in.
Yep.
So yeah, and then in addition to that, Collector Rob said, Nebula Space Pirate mentioned on 2 different podcasts on the same day. So we had spoken to our friends over at the Ministry of Dice and confirmed with them that they were A-okay with our schedule change, because we do want to make sure that our fellow podcasts and we work together with them. So we don't usually release on the same day. So Chris and Andy were like, yeah, put your episode out. It's all good to go. So you brought up Nebula Space Pirate in your top 3 cards. And it came up in the Ministry of Dice podcast that same day as well, because they were talking about cards on that podcast. So yeah, so that was pretty interesting. And if you haven't listened to last week's Ministry of Dice episode, I would encourage you to go check it out. So that all came from our Double and Dice podcast convo chat on Discord. In addition to that, we got a comment on Reddit from our friend M. Brewer, who has a different Reddit name, which is Mousefart. And he says, 3 years, you gals are amazing. Thank you for providing an interesting perspective on the game we all love. I hope you have as much fun making this as we have listening. Congrats on 3 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 3. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
M. Brewer. We really appreciate that. And finally, we got an email from Andy May, and we haven't heard from Andy in a while, which was super sad because we like hearing from Andy. And it was called, I sent an email a while back and was sad. And I was like, oh no, did we miss an email? And it turns out we didn't miss an email. Andy has a couple of different email boxes at work, and some are like read only, and he tried to send it when he was in the wrong email box, apparently. So it was after the Chinese New Year episode, and he wanted to share with us that he is a rabbit. So he also wanted to say that your lunar zodiac isn't solely based on the year, which is true. You have to take a look at where your birthday falls in the year on when the Chinese or Lunar New Year starts, because it's a little bit flexible. It's usually sometimes towards the end of January. So he did share a link with us on finding your lunar calendar and zodiac animals. If you're early in the year, like January, February, you could be the previous year's animal because of when the Lunar New Year takes place. So really good feedback and really good information there. We'll definitely drop that in the show notes as well. So and then in addition to that, he did add that there was a My Little Pony set a long time ago, Kim. It was Dice Kitty that had made it. And there was also a Super Mario set as well, but he's pretty sure that the person that made that set had all custom dice, so it wasn't playable. So it wasn't like they'd used dice that exist in the game. And he thinks that Dice Kitty made the My Little Pony set with existing dice. So he was going to go back and check her site, but wasn't sure if he'd remember. So
wasn't there, or did we mention there was maybe a Care Bears?
Care Bear Countdown.
I feel like there was Care Bears as well.
I mean, there's been lots of things. There's a Firefly set. People have done all kinds of stuff. Custom sets are a thing. But I don't remember a Care Bear set.
Okay.
So that would be interesting. Maybe we'll have to make one, Kim.
I'm telling you, we have to do something like a crazy like cartoon animated TV show or something like that.
Yeah. We had chatted on one of our previous episodes about a spin-up global in Superman Kryptonite Crisis, that it wasn't just Supergirl, and we couldn't remember who it was. Andy was happy to share with us it was Orion, so thank you for that. Andy, we didn't want to fumble around and search too much when we were on the podcast, although we do that sometimes. So we were correct. There is another one. It's on Orion, and Kim, you should have known that.
Didn't I say that? I can't remember.
No, you didn't.
You know what? Okay. I haven't been using Orion that much because honestly, I don't like his abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of ignore him.
All right, if you insist. But you like the old Orion.
Yes, that one was great from Batman set.
Yeah, the previous. Yeah. So he said, as always, thanks for the show. Way to keep producing content in the dry spell. So thanks, Andy. It was super great to hear from you. We always like to hear your emails, and hopefully we'll hear from you again soon. And that was all we've got so far, although I do expect to receive probably some more feedback over the next few days that we'll share on future episodes, because like we said, it's only been a few days since this original podcast launched. So before we go into final thoughts, Kim, did you want to talk about 2-Team Takedown?
Yes, the day this drops, it would start.
Okay, so it's too late to call. It's too late to enter.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, it would already started when this episode dropped on the 6th.
Okay.
So
it's starting.
Yes, it's starting and it's running for the month. And then maybe there'll be another thing coming up. We never know. Stay
Info to
tuned.
follow.
And Weekly Dice Arena is obviously every Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Join the Dice Masters Discord and you can find a theme there. And I wanted to drop a note because I forgot and then I remembered as we were talking. Jordo had put out an article on dm-north.com from all talks about the Makers Tournament, which is happening Saturday, September. Oh my gosh, February. Saturday, March 11th.
March. Okay.
We're okay. Saturday, March 11th is the Makers Tournament. So there is a channel in the Discord for that as well. And if you go to Breath Weapon X website, there's details on that tournament. So that was creating custom cards, and you have to build your team with the custom cards that people have submitted who are playing. So that gave Jordo an idea of coming up with a community team pack based on the new movie that came out, which was Ant-Man and the Wasp. So if you like creating cards, and have fun or just coming up with abilities or whatnot, go to our website. I will also drop this in the notes as well, and take a look through, and we'll be building a team pack for that movie. So there's been a few entries, and I think there's different characters you can pick and stuff and build. So cool. So I'll drop that. I got to get on that because I was going to do it, but I haven't got on it yet. I'm lazy. So, no, I just have to get into the groove to do it, right? So,
for sure.
I'm not one to really come up with abilities. I'm not good at that. I'll just always pick the easy ones, like Overcrush. Energize.
You just talked about wanting more Energize, Kim.
Yeah. Maybe I should do all of them Energize. How does that work? But yeah, so that's a little community spotlight. So if you're interested, go take a look and build some cards or just build the abilities, and we'll help you build cards. So Jordo did do a video on the tool of how to customize your own cards. So it's up on our YouTube. You can go take a watch and then go to our website and you can do your card there.
Awesome. Kim, I forgot one thing.
I
had one last piece of feedback on our last episode. It's from me.
Okay.
I was expecting someone else to call it out when I re-listened. So early on in the podcast, we talked about how it was not because you were a prima donna that we didn't put out an episode the week before, but simply because I wasn't feeling well. And also that you had a travel schedule and you had gone to Vegas. And I said, I'm going to come back to that, Kim, and ask you about your trip.
Oh, right.
And I didn't.
Yes.
So my feedback for you, Kim, is I would like to hear how your Pokemon trip to Vegas went.
Sure. Yes, so I did a on the whim travel to Vegas, not for gambling and not for Vegas, but for Vegas because on that Saturday there was which was our family day long weekend. So it was February 20th was the Saturday, I believe, or the 19th, something like that.
20th might have been the
Sunday.
Anyway,
that weekend.
That weekend.
Yeah. Me and my husband flew in the Friday. And there was a Pokemon event. There was a Go Tour event that was happening on the Saturday at a huge park. About 15,000 plus people were there. There's a lot of people and a lot of walking. So we spent the whole day.
Scott Porter, who does the HeroClix videos.
Supposedly, yes.
I saw pictures of him there with his dad.
I did not run into him. I've seen a couple of the YouTubers. The Pokemon YouTubers, he could have been either hidden or maybe he was out there, you know what I mean? But 15,000 people, what are the chances I'm going to walk by him? Especially when your head is down into your phone. So.
Totally. I'm not judging you for saying I saw that he was there.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a day of playing Pokemon from 10 to 5:30. Very exhausting day, but very fun. There was issues. I experienced some of the issues. My only downside to the whole thing was I didn't catch that much shinies, and a lot of people didn't. So you're going to a big event, you're flying out, you're paying money for it. I guess, I don't know, there should have been a little boost on the shinies, and there wasn't. And then they had some technical issues. So
where did you stay, Kim?
I stayed at the Virgin Hotel.
Oh, cool.
It's nice. A newer hotel that's off the strip. And yeah, it's really nice. It's a really nice hotel. Well, we tried to go as cheap as we can, so we went off the strip. Yeah. But Vegas is not cheap anymore. Vegas is not cheap. No. So expensive there. Like a breakfast cost us, converted to Canadian, was like $80. Mm-hmm. A breakfast. Eating and a coffee. It was just like crazy expensive there. Yeah,
did you do anything aside from Pokemon when you were there? Like,
yeah, the Friday we went to, no, actually, we did not hit the strip at all. The Friday when we came in, it was about the afternoon time, their time. By the time we got back to our hotel, got ready, we went for dinner, and then we went to a show. And the show was a Cirque du Soleil show based on the Beatles.
Oh, yeah. So you saw, what's it called?
Love. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is that still at the Mirage?
That was at the Mirage, yes.
Yeah.
It was
that show has been at the Mirage for like 15 years.
Are you kidding? Really? That long?
Yeah, I went to Vegas. Well, maybe not 15 years, 10 years. I went to Vegas for work like 10 years ago. Maybe 12 years ago, and it was at the Mirage then.
Wow. Yeah. I wonder if they've changed it up, like the show. But it's all Beatles music. I was very upset they did not play Yellow Submarine. I am no ways a Beatles fan. I only know the ones that they would have played. You know what I mean? Like the most song they would have played. Most popular, I guess. Other songs, there was a lot of songs I did not know. But it was my husband's kind of birthday weekend as well. So he loves the Beatles. So he knew all the music. So I was a little upset about that. But anyways... Maybe towards the end of the show.
I don't think Yellow Submarine would fit into that show. I'm just gonna put it out there, Kim.
Well, they played They played what's the other one? Octopus on the what's that one called?
The Octopus's Garden.
Yes, they played that. And my husband said there was a Yellow Submarine, which I completely missed, or else my eyes probably would have been closed at that point because I was very sleepy. Because it would have been 2 a.m. our time.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so exhausted. And then Sunday morning we got up, had breakfast, and we were on our way back to Toronto.
It's a quick turnaround.
Just a quick trip, but a fun trip. Our first experience with Pokemon Go. Would I do a Pokemon Go again? Maybe, depending where it is. I wish they can come to Canada. So if there's any Pokemon people out there, or Niantic people who work for them, please come to Canada. But yeah, I mean, it was experience. I experienced it, and I had fun.
Cool. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for telling me, Kim, because I'm happy to hear that your trip was fun.
No worries. Good stuff. I didn't do any of the Vegas things, so I've done there, been there. It wasn't what I went there for. So,
I mean, technically, you went to the Strip if you went to the Mirage for the show, but
true. But we didn't like walk around or anything like that. And
no. Did you do any gambling?
0. If I was to do any gambling, I probably would have hit like the roulette table. Mm-hmm. And I would have played like poker, but I find like poker is one of those things where you got to sit and play for like a day or a night. You know what I mean? Like you're there for a bit.
I like doing blackjack.
Yeah, I didn't hit anything. I think it was just like we were like go, and then after. I think we walked around like 10 kilometers that Saturday.
That's a lot of kilometers.
Yes, just walking and walking and walking. It's a very big park and walking. And we had to go to different areas of the park because there was different things. So we were exhausted by the end of that. So. Not much, just a very little.
Yeah.
So.
And did Mr. Noah miss you?
He did. He cried when we were leaving, but we got him a stuffy of one of his YouTube shows that he likes, and he was all over that stuffy. So
That's awesome.
I think that made him.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Awesome.
Yep, so
Well, I'm glad you had a good time, Kim.
yeah, nice fun quick trip away.
Awesome. All right, so last thing on the list then is we have 2 things that we're asking our fellow listeners to help us out with. So the first off is we have a survey, and we are asking the survey to be completed by Friday, March 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern. And this survey is a community survey about Dice Masters cards in the current modern meta. So if you could, or modern assortment, if you could take the time to do the survey, we put a lot of work into it. We did just sort of put it out on the social media last week, and we've already had, quite a few responses, but we'd love to have more to help us get that feedback. So if you could complete that survey, we'd really appreciate it. There is a prize available for a random draw at the end. So if you are interested in a random draw prize, then you can complete the survey. It takes just a few minutes, and we'd love your thoughts. So that would be super awesome. Additionally, in our anniversary episode, we talked about our top 3 cards from the top 3 sets of the current modern meta, and 3 sets that came out during our podcast time frame. So by the time you hear this episode, our poll will be out for those, so that you can vote on your favorite basic action and your favorite card out of those selections. And we're going to share that with you on a future episode, because we'd love to see what you think compared to of the selections that we made, essentially. So watch for that poll in all the places that we can do polls, like Discord and Facebook and Twitter and all of those places, and I will compile all of that data. Unless I decide to do a form, which would be easier.
Which might be easier.
So anyway, in some way, by the time this podcast episode comes out, there will be some way for you to vote on which of the cards you like best, and we would appreciate your participation in that as well, and it'll just take a couple of minutes. So all of that helps us build content for you, so that we can keep talking about stuff until Secret Wars and future episodes, future sets are announced and launched. So we really appreciate that. And I think that's all we've got for today, Kim.
Yeah.
Awesome. So on that note, we'd love to hear from you. Feedback and Dice Bag, as you know, is a big part of our episode. We like to hear from you. So you can reach out to us in all of the following places. You can send us an email at dmNorth.com. You can provide a comment on our dm-north.com website on our episode post. You can find us on our Discord, dmNorthTV, through the A Double Double and Dice Convo chat channel, and there will be a link to that in the show notes. On Discord, you can also at us. I am at JoceStitch. Kim is at SuperK. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as dmNorthTV, and TikTok. And you can also find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/dmNorthTV, and on YouTube at youtube.com/dmNorthTV. And until next time, on A Double Double and Dice.
Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, eh?
Happy anniversary.